So as we're getting started, because everybody's sort of like getting to their desk and getting settled to start the show. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, everybody. ATB show. You can find all of our content at atbshow.com on the YouTubes. You can see Rubber Shoes doing his wrap up and rant every weekday morning, every morning, actually. He does Saturdays and Sundays. He's that dedicated. That's, of course, on Instagram. And in the bio in the Instagram, you'll find our link tree with all of our social. So I walk in on a rather disturbing conversation about you guys discussing your facial hair. And I'm like, maybe I'll come back. Never.
Lack of.
Yeah. Because,
well,
oh, I love your shirt. I'm just noticing the Kowloon shirt.
The shirt's
on
awesome.
The back. What do you got? What's on the back?
It's nothing.
Oh, okay. So my boys have got poo poo. There's a got Mai Tai. There's some great ones. And if you're there as of late, now they have winter caps. And this is all out in the gift shop out front. You got to go up back and find somebody. They come back, open the cabinet. They have the hats too. They're camo hats, snapback, flat visor with red Kowloon across the front. They're amazing. Awesome. And I own one. I know you're shocked. So yeah, the whole facial hair thing, and you were talking about No Shave November, or Grovember, Grovember, yeah, or whatever you want to call it. And did you? What did you have? Did you have a beard? I don't think I've ever seen you with a beard, Rubber Shoes.
No, I can't. I was explaining to Scotty, I can't have a beard on the fire department. We have to, because the way our mask seals, you can only have a mustache. You can't have any other facial hair.
Interesting. That's why a lot of firefighters have like the handlebar or just, the longer, just enough. Yep. Yeah. I don't do a real good job connecting here or here. And it's all red and gray. I don't know. There's a lot going on.
This is the first stuff
going on, actually.
If I grow out, happening for me. If I grow it, I get a T. I don't get a goatee. It doesn't connect.
A goatee. Goatee. Lots on the menu. Well, first and foremost, Little Shoes is
pun intended. Pun intended.
Lots on the menu. Yes, of course. You don't need a menu at Kowloon. You just go in and order. And if you've never been, if we do have anybody viewing outside of New England, if you've never been, they have
get there quick.
They have gone to the town. They are starting to lay the groundwork to shut her down because the land they're on is going to be worth cajillions. Yes. I'm hoping that one of the son-in-laws or one of the daughter-in-laws or one of the kids decides that they do want to move forward. I believe Harry Wong is the dad in charge right now. He's probably not the senior. He's probably not the patriarch of the entire family. He's the one you see running around all the time. And clearly the kids have decided we're good, which to me is a travesty. And it'll never be the same, but they could drop another Kowloon location somewhere. I read that, and I would figure it out.
I read that the plaza that they're gonna be making, there's possibility of like a Kowloon takeout restaurant in the plaza.
1,000%. They got to figure something out. If you think of if you ever go in there, you'll notice it's always dimly lit. If they ever turn the lights on, you probably never eat there again. Right. every booth, every one of those bench seats in the booth has duct tape on it. There's probably some bullet holes and some other things in other places. But they are it's churn and burn, not turn and burn. They are just cranking out food at a fever pitch. There's 1,200 seats inside. I've read the website. Really? Wow. 1,200 seats inside, which grew over time, of course. If you think about the people that are coming in to go upstairs to what used to be Dick Doherty's Comedy Hut, I don't know what it's called now. That ancillary business of people that are doing whatever they're doing up there and then coming back down to get food, people leaving anything at the garden. We hit it all the time when we're leaving BC. If it made sense, and it doesn't, but I would still make it make sense on the way home from Gillette. And my wife is always amazed. No matter what time of day, there's cars in the parking lot, right? And right now, I guarantee if you're driving by right now, the measurement is it past the ATM? You know, the ATM in the back of the parking lot? Are the cars past the ATM? Because then, at that point, if you go inside, you're probably going to wait 5 minutes, maybe. Yeah. But with 1,200 seats, takeout, and all the things going on, your food comes so quickly. Mm. The only thing you need to wait on is sushi, and their sushi is phenomenal because it's like the size of Scotty's head, not the size of your mustache. That's terrible. The size of Scotty's head, and it's super fresh. And they just do it.
Yeah, everything's fresh and hot.
Their food's so they're amazing. Don't get me started. I told Aiden that's where the rehearsal dinner is. No matter whom he marries, that's where the rehearsal dinner is. But now we're running out of time, so apparently it won't be there. But anyway, But we're going to get into it. I told Adam, he's not here. Little Shoes, of course, they're both on assignment this week. I told Adam earlier in the week, I said, you always have some rando background. I said, it should be Fozzie Bear. And he's like, I don't get the connection. I'm like, because the Red Sox signed Waka Waka Waka. But it didn't take. And he's not here, so it doesn't matter. But I still got that really bad joke in anyway. Yeah, we're going to talk about the lockout, sure, because it doesn't really matter who they sign, because I don't think people are going to be playing baseball. It doesn't feel like that might be a thing.
They signed Paxton, too. They just signed James Paxton
as
well. I'm like,
horrible.
What are we doing? Like, what? That's what we're doing? We're going to sign James, like, he's coming off his, like, second Tommy John. Like,
$10 million, whether he plays for us or not next year. Yeah. He's not due to come back till almost September.
I was gonna say like end of August, right? Yeah. Like middle of August. That's what I heard too. It's like,
so they give him $10 million to possibly play in September, and then if they think he looks good, they have an option to keep him for 2023 and 2024.
Wasn't Walker like 10 million or 7 million or something, like 7.5?
But that's all they do. They're just getting 10 million, because they could have had Erod for 18 million. That was too much. It was over the $10 million threshold. You know, they can't pay more than $10 million a pitcher, I guess.
Let's bring in Walker, who's, ERA is 5 at AAA lately. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus, give me a freaking break. But to the lockout, I mean, today, I think actually the timer just hit 0, didn't it? It was like 5 o'clock. I thought it was the CBA
deadline,
officially deadline. I think it ran out. And I was just watching the Twitter. And the last I heard is that they essentially they stopped talking.
Oh, because this morning I heard they were back at the table.
They were, and then just now they announced that they didn't work out. Did not work out.
Yeah. So dumb.
Interesting.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's just there was a 7-minute meeting with top officials. And then negotiators are leaving the hotel, and it's unclear when they're going to return.
Yeah. This past season was probably one of their best seasons since the last lockout back in the 92, I think it was.
Yeah, it was
last stoppage. I don't know if it was a strike or a lockout, but the last stoppage, they finally got it all back, and they're going to throw it all away.
Yep. Well, and a big piece of that was people were just excited to be out in public again, back in the ballpark again. And locally, the ownership here for the Red Sox, smart enough to do college breaks, and that just
the
really cutting the prices
really
to make sure. And even what is it, 37.5 is max at Fenway for a baseball game, and even with the prices cut during the playoffs, Janina was commenting, she's like, that's not banged out. Like they might have sold X, but the gate wasn't 37.5. It was never physically banged out. Yet they still had a great year. Some of the things they did that could be super smart. Like, I love how they do. If they have to delay a game, they're going into, like, they started with somebody on second. What are they doing? They're doing something different.
That's the extra innings rule you're thinking of.
Extra innings rule. I'm sorry. They start with somebody on second base.
Yep.
Like, that kind of stuff is just all that's really smart. That maybe a pitch clock needs to happen at some point.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see universal DH. And I know, like, this is not half of what they're talking about, but while they're fighting, if they could do anything to, and honestly, honest conversation, and I know this is going to upset people in California, like, could we start a game before 9:00?
Yes.
Like, and I'm speaking, all of our people are taller, but your boys, Scotty, like, have never really watched a World Series because they're nights. And now at my advanced age, I'm nights. Like, I'm staying up if it's the Red Sox,
right? But
I wasn't, like, after when the Red Sox got bounced. I mean, I peace out on I'm not watching two other teams punch each other in the face at 9:30. Like, no, I don't know. I got enough other stuff on my DVR I care about. Quite honestly.
The problem is the TV networks get their spike at the beginning at the prime time while they're on here, and that's all they care about. They don't care about the fans.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, you look at, like, the NFL, like, the NFL, which in really all retrospect is actually a shorter game a lot of the time because baseball is just so dragged out, but they kick things off, no pun intended, at like 8:00. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's something like on Thursday night when I get the boys, Obviously, they have school the next day. They get till halftime. I say, you guys, you get Thursday night football. You get to halftime. That's it. You're in bed. And sometimes that runs a little bit later, you know what I mean? But, and the game ends at like at the latest, the game's ending around like 10:30,
Yep.
You know what I mean? 11 o'clock, but that's doable. There's baseball games that just regular 9 innings that will go until 11:45. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I can't forget it because it kicks off or goes to midnight because it starts at 9:05 or 9:07 first pitch. And I'm like, no. And it's just, and the rating numbers, and I know it's been broken down before, and I feel like I've seen it somewhere that East Coast has the majority of the high stake numbers, you know what I mean? And it's just, I don't know, like people on the West Coast, they don't care that much. Let's be honest. They really don't.
Right. Well, but here's the thing.
Weather's nicer over there. They're outside more.
all the stuff that when they start their broadcast, like, don't start your broadcast. I don't need to hear what A-Rod thinks about anything. Oh. Like, if we're gonna go true prime time, to Scotty's point, then it's 7:59. Somebody should be towing the rubber at 7:59. Because that's 5 o'clock. If they're running out of Silicon Valley to go watch the World Series, then that's people are out of work.
Right.
And if their team is involved, most companies are like, the Giants are in the World Series. Everybody can leave at lunch. Or we're gonna have a watch party at the office.
Right.
Like, so that rule, it's that they're starting at 8 o'clock and it's an hour of pregame.
Right.
I'm all set. I'm like Big Papi. Give me 3 hours of him, but I'll start watching at 5 o'clock. I still want you to start pitching at 8. It's that they're, and it's just the speed of the game. It's not necessarily the time frame, because you could throw the Super Bowl at 10:30 at night and people would stay up for it.
Right.
It is the speed of the game, the excitement of the game. And I think there's things that they've been doing to curate that. And I hope they don't lose all that in maybe what might be an elongated break, which is horrifying. Because to Billy's point, they were in a good place.
Yeah.
And parochially, like the Red Sox, it was a great season. It was a great vibe. Everybody said Fenway was, if you went and it didn't rain and you didn't get rained out, Scotty, I mean, if you went and saw a game and everybody's like kept talking about it, was like, it felt like a big party, as it could be and should be if they get the youth back into it. Right.
Right.
I think the only thing that's a good thing about this compared to the 94-95 lockout was like, that really sucked about that was it was mid-season. Like, you remember that? Like, it was like the Montreal Expos were on fire. Like, there was all this stuff going on. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I could think is like, this is actually happening in the off season. So they have some time. The other thing it doesn't impact is like any international or other leagues. So players could essentially go like the MILB, that international league, that still can happen. So their players can still keep themselves ready and do other things. So at least that's, if there's any kind of like semblance of something that, might come of good, that is, but I mean, it's just sad, that they're, we're at this point. NBA is going to be right behind it. The NBA, I don't think it's a question. Like, they're definitely going to have a lockout. Their CBA ends after the next season, I think. I got to look that up. But with the way that the NBA PA, their Players Association right now, I don't see it. I don't see that. Not it's just not going to go well. I don't think it's going to go well at all.
Well, and that's arguably right now, I would say that's the league that the players run the most.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Players
like without a doubt
pick and choose. They're firing. Like LeBron started it with like, I don't like that coach. And then suddenly that guy's,
I don't even like that fan. Get him out of here.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I want to talk about that so much. Oh my God.
Before I got to say, have you seen any of the midday show on TV for the Hub?
When we, it's funny that you say that, because so when we go to the Cape, that is like, we just leave it on. Yeah. Usually the week that we're at the Cape, the Tour de France is taking
like
place.
The last week and a half.
Oh, no, I haven't. But when we have the availability to watch it, I'll put it on.
One of the hosts has been remote because of COVID issues.
Okay.
He's been remote and he took your background. He stole your background.
What do you mean? Oh, Fozzie?
a plain wall.
Oh.
They were making fun of him all last week. They're like, "Oh, you really went all out for that, but that backcroop." It was just like a pain.
I know. I know it's been a full week since Soupgate, but you'd be very impressed. I've got my team just left the office, and they were like, "Oh my God, you actually moved some stuff around." Yeah, we're starting to sort through the piles in here. There'll eventually be something back there.
Keep waiting every
I'll have
week.
a countdown to when the baseball season is going to start again. It'll just be it'll be a :01, and the one will just be glitching.
It's a long countdown. It's gonna be forever.
Yeah. I'll put up an OSHA sign.
I mean, I do think that the owners do have to try and get some control back from the players.
Mhm.
The commissioner has the right to initiate stuff for the best interest in baseball or to take stuff away, but he's just so afraid of the players union. He could have initiated the pitch clock already, but he doesn't want to piss off the players union.
He doesn't want to piss off anybody. Manfred's just he's scared of everything. He doesn't. What was the last time out of all the commissioners out of like the major sports, he to me is like so far behind the scenes and like in the shadows because he doesn't want to rock the boat at all.
We need a baseball commissioner that's going to reinstate Pete Rose so he can be in the Hall of Fame.
That escalated. Is that the first place that I would have gone? That was
that's number one on my list before he dies.
Just
amazing.
Pete Rose?
Yeah, that's
no Barry Bonds, no Kurt Schilling.
Oh, the writers are idiots.
Is Big Papi going in on the first ballot?
They're eligible. So it's going to be interesting. So A-Rod and Big Papi are both eligible. They're both, so on the list, Papi's name was on. Actually, they were both on the list.
1,000%.
So if they're going to let them in, why don't you let Clemens
and Clemens and Schilling and all those guys?
Yep.
Well, Schilling's not really. He was not on the list. He just no one likes him.
Yeah, he just pissed. And that's another thing. Just put your egos aside. Does he deserve to be in there or not?
Correct.
Don't.
Correct. Yes.
And then so many of those guys, they make their own rules. It's like, oh yeah, he definitely did it. Well, I'm sure there's plenty of people that are already in the Hall of Fame that did steroids, aka Ricky Henderson. He was probably the first person that did them.
Yeah. Yep.
So you can't go back and take people out. So just put it in. It was the error that it was, that the majority of the guys were probably doing it. They're playing against guys that were doing it. So were they Hall of Famers in their era against the same type of people? Yes or no?
Well,
put them in or not?
Yeah, and it's such a good point. Think about this too. Like we live in a day now where like rotation and speed of the rotation of the ball, right? That they can't do that anymore, right? So that got removed.
Yeah.
So then you had batters juicing, but you also had guys like putting anything they possibly could on the baseball to get it to rotate faster than for years, even after the steroid era.
Yep.
And HGH and all that, right? So, but you don't hear. Like that's not going to be egregious enough. I don't think that at least you don't hear it. That people are like, oh no. Well, he used, his rotation was so fast that he'll never make the Hall of Fame. Like Clayton Kershaw can't do it. He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame because he used something on the ball to make it spin faster. Like what?
It's going to be interesting to see when all the old time writers are out and it's all analytics guys, how they're probably just going to go strictly by stats. If they're above this line or below this line, they're in. If they're below, they're out. And
pass fail. Yep. Well, and even from a visual standpoint, because I mean, everything that was made of the fact that, Sammy Sosa doesn't even look like him anymore. And there's people that clearly bulked up, right? But then you got somebody, and I can't remember if he actually got popped or not. It escapes me. Curtis Granderson.
I don't know if he did or not.
Remember he had that.
So.
I feel like he had this exponential year where he just like went off the charts, and there was suspicion, but I don't.
Brady Anderson type year.
I can't remember if he got popped or not. All I remember is I'm forgetting his name from the Yankees, the play-by-play guy on the radio, the Grandy Man Cam. Like he had the worst calls.
Yeah,
the worst calls. Some of the worst calls for sure, without fail.
He just had that in the playoffs, right? He had a call that he thought it was a home run or something. What would happen? Oh, that was and then his partner
John
Susan,
Sterling is his name.
Yeah,
John Sterling. Yeah.
Susan just left him hanging like you're all by yourself on this
right.
one.
You're a man on an island. The Grandy Man can.
Yeah.
And then it was the Mark Teixeira. It's a text message to left field. Like, dude,
so
like,
bad. He was so bad.
So bad.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a reach.
And that's a lot because I'm a BC fan and I listen to John Mita Perel call football where everybody's taking a bow. There's an eagle in the end zone. He is unapologetically bleeds maroon. But speaking of football, can we pivot real quick?
You want to go to the Revolution?
5-2. They lost in penalty kicks. No, we can move on. We appreciate their season.
Number 1 seed, best broke records, and they're out in the first game.
Folded in one game against New York.
And they want more attention, and everyone's like, "Oh, look, everyone like talk about the you're talking about Revolution. They're amazing and blah, blah blah." And I'm like, they've never won anything.
They've been the Bills though.
No, I think they've been 4 or 5 times.
They went like 4 in a row at one point. Yeah, wide left. Like, honest to God, dude. Tough. Not great. Great. No, let's talk about college football. Like that dude. That has got to be. That was. I read the headline at first.
Well, Scotty must be excited.
I thought it said. I thought it was.
Wolverines.
What's that?
Oh no, I thought he's talking about the coaching changes.
But it's just college football and
yes, I'm very excited about that. Yes.
Yeah, the top 4 is amazing because I'm glad since he's in, it's amazing. Yep. And I guess I couldn't believe when I read the headline, it was like Kelly to LSU, what is the future? And I thought they were saying that Kelly was saying to LSU, well, like I'm reading this, I'm reading this wrong, or the planet is spinning backwards, and then I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't. That to me is just stunning. Why he would it's like he box checked. He's the winningest coach at the Golden Dome
with 0 championships,
and MoveOn.org to LSU. And he's like, in his quote, I'm excited to move into Baton Rouge. And I was like, what is happening right now?
And the fact that he's like been saying for like the longest time, like, oh, well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Then he leaves. His players find out about it through social media, basically. Yeah. And then he has a 4-minute and 17-second goodbye to his players. It was like a video conference. And that's what it was. 4 minutes, and it leaked and all that. And it's like 4 minutes. And then he was gone.
That's bad. I mean, they still have a chance of making the playoffs, and he just leaves them high and dry like that. Like, he couldn't wait till it was all over.
But yeah, all of it is stunning.
Georgia beats Alabama. People still think Alabama will still potentially make it, but if Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC championship,
right?
Since he wins, Michigan wins. Yep. Notre Dame could, conceivably jump into that. But
who do you think the no-brainer is for Notre Dame rubber shoes?
I have I haven't looked into it. I
think the Fitzgerald is Northwestern.
Still a shock to me.
I couldn't believe it.
I wonder if they had the kid that's been doing the offensive coordinating, Tommy. God, I'm horrible at remembering names. I wonder if he's been really good. I wonder, he's a former player. I wonder if they would want to.
Have they haven't named an interim yet?
I haven't heard it. I haven't seen anything.
The AD said he came out and said that things like this. He was basically spinning it as like, oh, this was expected. We kind of knew that Kelly was going to be going at some point, and that we're in a really good place. That was it. That's as far as he went. So he didn't really give I'm reading between the lines there, thinking he has 10 candidates in mind, or 5 candidates in mind off the top. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, outside of them actually sitting down and writing down some names, it's Notre Dame. Right. They could probably call Belichick and have an honest conversation. I mean, I'm joking, but I'm not. I mean, right? It's the crown jewel. Like, where do you want to coach if you're a kid? And you're like, I want to be a college football coach one day. Like Schenectady, Hofstra, Middle Tennessee State, Notre Dame. I think it's definitely in the list, right?
Well, if you talk to Lincoln Riley, apparently USC is. So, the way he left Oklahoma was just as bad
Yeah.
as the way that Kelly left Notre Dame. The fact they happened like back to back too, like Riley left, and then like a few hours later is like Kelly's like, hold my beer, let me show you how it's done, and then he freaking leaves. It's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, I wonder insane. How much they gave him. Did anyone see what they
10.95? Oh, hold it. You're talking about Kelly to LSU?
Yeah.
10 for 95.
That's insane, man.
Yep.
That's a John
that's
Gruden
like, and
contract.
that's like the going rate right now. The kid that just got the 10-year contract at Michigan State. His name escapes me. I apologize. And it's so funny because that BC sends out
Walker.
BC sends out their little love note. They're like, so Hafley signed for 5 years, which I'm happy about because I don't know what his last deal was. I don't know how many years it was to begin with. But I was just like, oh my God, we ended up 6-6. And I'm just like, oh my God, is he going to be frustrated and just like peace out on us? But he made some comment after the game that I'm not going anywhere. And then they announced his deal the next day. So he's a 5-year deal, which is nice because I adore him. And we got to get out of our own way. Here's the problem though. For schools like us, doesn't matter what he does. If we have the Little Sisters of the Poor, Perkins School for the Blind, and Kowloon's dishwashers on our schedule, right? And that's we keep doing that. Next year, we have 2 B teams. Everybody added their FCS school to their schedule, so everybody would have 12 games, right? That happened a while back. So everybody has 12. No more question about 10 games, 11 games, 12 games. Everybody make sure you have 12 games. And the fact that you're starting the season 0-0 with 12 games in front of you, but they're just it's not a great schedule. I mean, and that's the knock on Cincinnati who fought their way into the top 4.
So go undefeated or with 1 loss and then worry about it. You got to get the players there to win first.
Can we just it's not a terrible schedule. You were playing the UMaine Black Bears on September 17th. Can we get focused? Come on. That's big. It's big time.
No, I know. No, he's serious. Yeah.
I'm not saying.
Oh, no. I'm pretty sure my mic is muted. No, we'll probably fucking lose that game. That's the problem. Oh, yeah. No, but he's definitely serious.
No, you will not.
He's a huge man guy. Yeah. No. Right. All right. See you, Jeff.
Have
a great week.
Baby.
Thanks for signing. Bye.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, dude. No, but look, read the schedule. Read next year's schedule.
So it's Rutgers, Virginia Tech, Maine, UConn.
There it is. Right there. Right there. Those are the 2 games that make it not a schedule.
Yeah.
And I appreciate what you're saying, Rubber Shoes. And don't get me wrong. We're always going to have a field full of kids that go to class and know how to spell their name. And we're always going to have student athletes. We're never going to have jocks. We're never going to have kids that are leaving their sophomore year to be top 10 draft picks. I appreciate that. And you could also craft and curate a schedule that allows you to be in the conversation. If you ever, one hand washes the other. If I got Hafley in my living room and I got whoever's going to Notre Dame in my living room, and now Kelly from LSU, right? But honest conversation. If you got some kids that are like, I'm thinking about, Wake Forest or Duke or Notre Dame or BC, because I'm Catholic and I can spell my name. So I'm only looking at a handful of schools, because most kids in the country are like, I'm Catholic and I like football. They don't think of BC. I know that.
Right.
But we're never going to enter that conversation if we don't start to build a schedule.
But they're playing Notre Dame
in the conversation.
They play Notre Dame next year.
Yeah, we had a 2020 and a 2022 agreement. Yes.
And then obviously the ACC slate, but the ACC slate isn't looking as sexy.
Now Clemson decided to not be good, and
right.
That's another
Florida
thing.
State's kind of trash, and
right.
You know what I mean.
The whole conference has kind of gone down.
Mm-hmm.
But you're playing Maine. Sorry, can't help it.
Are they D2 or the whatever they call it, FCS?
No, they're not.
No, they're okay. I didn't. No, I wasn't being a jerk.
I hope that's the YouTube picture that you see.
Yes, yeah. We'll screen cap that for you. Yeah.
So their D1 is.
They are. Yeah, they are. They just get destroyed a lot of the times. They're not bad. I mean,
they
used to be like
All-American League. Is that what the
yeah. Yep. The AAC or whatever. Yeah.
American Athletic Conference.
Yes.
Well, that's the other thing. Are we about to get weaseled into that bowl? I think it's not. By the way, boys, I think Kowloon had a hand in this. It is the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. Did you hear that?
Yes. No. Is it
It's
really?
the Wasabi Fenway Bowl.
That's amazing.
And I'm still not going. Yeah. It's the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, and
but what's
a few different projections have us going there. For the most part, we're going, like, there's the Gasparilla Bowl. There's a whole bunch of bowls that I don't want to be a part of. Janine is like, they're all drivable. I'm like, you're out of your natural mind. I'm staying home.
Yeah.
Do these bowls make that much money that they have these games just to play 2 6-6 teams against each other? Do they actually make money off it? Seems like there's so many bowl games that aren't even worth watching.
No, for sure.
So many.
One of the ones that we're slated to be in is the First Responders Bowl, which we went to in Texas a few years ago. I think they played it like the old Cotton Bowl. And and we were at the First Responder Bowl, and we needed first responders because they lost power.
Oh my gosh.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then they called the game because they couldn't afford the overtime for everybody working at the stadium, because there were 4 people there selling pinochle.
Yeah.
Or peanut brittle, I should say. Pinocchle's a card game. Still would be more interesting to watch than the game that we went to that lost power that we couldn't finish, right?
I know it benefits the schools because the schools get money out of it, but I don't see how the sponsors of some of these actually make money off of it.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that additional game, and for that second tier, you're not playing for the title. There's so many kids that are like, I love the PlayStation, I love the Fiesta Bowl. I'm not going to risk my ACL. I need to be on stage in New York in 3 months,
right?
To take pick number 7 and $1 trillion to buy mama a house. Like that, they're not going to risk it, and I appreciate that. So it's almost like dropping the All-Star game, the Pro Bowl in the middle of the season. It's like, don't the All-Star game, all those kind of things. A lot of players are like, I'm good. I'm going to go be with my family. So,
right.
I don't know. Yeah. The Wasabi Fenway Bowl.
It's amazing.
Look out. Honest to God, brought to you by the Penguins. Holy smokes. We going to carve that tree tonight? I don't think so. Are we moving on to football? Are we on to football?
I think we're on to football. Yeah.
Should we? Because I know everybody has a hot date at 6. So let's move on to the Pats. Talk to me. I'm about to be wrong, right?
Yes.
We are 8-4. I'm about to be wrong.
You said 8
I was 8 and 9.
Right?
We have to lose 5 games in a row, apparently, according to me.
That's right.
Look at you
That's
guys.
right.
Yeah. What did you call? What did everybody call? Rubber Shoes has.
I was 9 and 8.
All right. Okay.
I was 12 and 5. I was the most optimistic of the group. I was the most optimistic, but
interesting.
Do
we split with? I mean, how do we finish now? I mean, I'm going to be wrong, but do you still think we're 12 and 5, or is it better than that?
No, I still think we are.
Okay.
I still think we are. I honestly, I could see us splitting with Buffalo. I could see that happening. They could also lose to the Colts, even though the Colts just blew their 3rd or 4th 10-point lead or 10 plus point lead of the season to Tampa Bay. But yeah, I mean, they're playing really, really well, except for the fact they gave up 270 yards on the ground. That was a little terrifying. They obviously had some big runs, JC punching the ball out there on Derrick Henry's, one of 3 of Derrick Henry's replacements that they've had on that big run, was obviously huge, but they again beat up a team that wasn't full strength, but then again, it's on the schedule. They keep playing. Mac looked great. That freaking throw, I think Little Shoe sent like a text as soon as it happened. The one to Bourne in the corner, that was beautiful. Yeah. I mean, that was just that was sexy, man. That was
what was funny, and it wasn't a you got mossed moment, although Randy had sent him gloves. Did you see that?
No, I didn't know that. No,
Randy had sent Kendrick Bourne gloves from the week prior because he mossed somebody. And they had footage on ESPN of him showing them to everybody and saying, "Hey, Randy, thank you so much. I've looked up to you for years. I'll cherish these." He goes, "They probably won't be on the field because obviously the colors are jacked up. I think Belichick would have had a cow.
Right.
And he goes, and I'll do my best to make you proud today. And then, yeah, I mean, that was well, but that catch was awesome because it wasn't a Moss moment, but it sort of was because he didn't really have any business in finishing that catch, and yet he did. You know,
the play of the game, well, not the play of the game, but one of the best catches of the game was insane. The play with Jacoby Myers, when who I just despise, Laird or whatever his name is there, the safety for who's really, really good for the Titans, but I just hate him. He drives me nuts. But yeah, he just misses the ball. Myers still has the concentration to bring it down on the long throw. That was
a great catch.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is like I brought it up at the very beginning of the year, the 2001 reference. Of course, you picked the phone up and brought up reality and all that. But you look at, the type of way that they're winning these games. And yeah, there's games where they're pulling away late. So that like the final score looks egregious, right? But most of the time the games are relatively close, minus that Jets game that was 54-13 or whatever the hell that was.
Yeah.
But, a lot of these are like, they kind of pull away as they go, which is great. They're kind of wearing teams down. I still think the defense is, obviously the defense is ridiculous. This will be an enormous test, especially against, because I feel like you look at what's going to happen if they make the playoffs, they're going to play against a lot of running type quarterbacks, which at times can be challenging for them. So, you got the guy who's a freaking small tree, that can still run really fast, like Josh Allen, the guy's a monster, obviously Lamar Jackson and others like that. But this is going to be one of their biggest, if not their biggest challenge this season. And of course they throw the ball first, second, third down. You know what I mean? This team Buffalo just wants to throw the freaking football. Yeah. So, to me, that's going to go into like the Patriots' strengths, because that's what they've done well all year, is they've had, one of the best pass defenses in the league. But it's how they're going to keep him in the pocket and keep him contained. Yeah. That's going to be huge, huge for this team.
Rubber shoes. Did you see Hilliard coming at all?
No.
I texted you guys because it was really funny. The quote from Hasselbeck on ESPN in the morning was, Belichick's a genius at taking away your best player. Good news, they don't have a best player. And then that guy comes out of the woodwork.
Right. Yeah. They just cut him off the practice squad. So that's what I'm not sold yet still. I'm waiting because I love
the negativity.
There's
8-9, baby.
I know you play what's on your schedule, so it is what it is. But I want to see them against Buffalo, and if win or lose, they've the two really good teams they've played, they've just lost against Dallas and Tampa. So I know they were a different team back then. That's why I'm really looking forward to Monday night's game and have them sell me on why I should get excited for the playoffs. Because I'm worried that all of a sudden, like they could lose 3 in a row. They could lose Buffalo, Colts, Buffalo, and then we're right out of it.
I mean, it's possible, but they have a lot of talent. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and I think they're getting a little healthier. Collins is back this week. And then obviously the huge loss for Buffalo, they lost Tre'Davious White, their best corner. Yeah. He's done for the season, so I think, if the Patriots aren't obviously 100% healthy, nobody is at this time of the year anyway, but, from large injury perspective, knock on wood here, they've been able to dodge, some of those bullets. Speaking of, never drafted Christian McCaffrey ever again. Speaking of injuries, I'm just bringing that fantasy shit up again, because that just freaking drives me nuts.
That's amazing.
He's on my I Care League.
What's that?
He's on the I Care League team.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, the money league. Yes, of course. Of course.
I'm lucky that I picked Leonard Fournette late and stole him.
Oh my God, 38 touchdowns over the weekend, right?
He's been carrying me.
In one league I play that I also have is I lost back-to-back weeks because I played against Jonathan Taylor 2 weeks ago, who had 5 touchdowns, and then this week
stud.
And this week Leonard Fournette, who also had like 4 touchdowns. Yeah. So I'm like, can I just? And it was like I'm losing by like a couple of points each week just because these guys are having monster games. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Did you guys look at Vegas
for this game?
Yeah,
I have not. No,
the Bills are given 3. I mean, mind you, it's there. I appreciate that. And the Bills are goodish. I think the Bills are as goodish as we are right now. Yeah.
Bills defense, especially.
No,
I'm
surprised it's only 3. I thought they would be favored by more, especially at home.
I think that's pretty good. I think that's fine. I was actually thinking it would be like I think it's to me, it's an even matchup. The way that the Pats are playing right now, and the way that Buffalo, obviously, they bounced back after some real bad games against Jacksonville and Indy. They obviously, but I mean, they beat up the Saints. Saints suck.
Well, we got to find out how good the secondary is, because they can. J.C. Jackson can take away Diggs, but they still have Emmanuel Sanders,
Knox.
So
Beasley, if Beasley plays, he's been banged up. But plus they have, Matt Breida came out of freaking nowhere, becoming like a James White type scat back last week. I got to see if I got him. I tried to pick him up because I lost McCaffrey.
Bills are given 3. The over/under is 43. What's your pick?
I'll go last.
I would go with the over on that. I do think it's. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be. Honestly, not by much. I think it's going to be pretty close. But I think the Pats will make enough plays. I'm going to say, 27-21. Somewhere around there, 27-21, 27-24. Pats will get the dub.
I'll go 31-28 overtime Bills.
I'm going to hope I'm wrong. I'm going to say 27-24 Bills.
Got to stay.
It's been going lately.
8 and 9. 8 and 9. Stay negative. Yeah, it's working.
Yeah,
it's working. It is working.
The shirts I printed are almost on their way to Botswana for the kids. How they always send them off to some other country when the team that doesn't win.
That's right.
All the Buffalo Bills t-shirts that kids have in other countries. Yeah. What is this? What does it say? Wide left. Don't ask, honey. Don't worry. Finish your Chinese food from Kowloon. It's delicious.
Exactly.
It's delicious.
Have you guys watched Man of the Arena yet, by the way? The 3rd episode just got released.
I have not.
Gotta check it out, man. It's really good. The best thing about it is they interview each week. It's been different players from the seasons or whatever that they talk about. This time around, it was Brewski and Mike Vrabel. Obviously with Brady, it's but it was really good. Just listening to Vrabel and how much shit he used to give Brady, and just like it's really, really well done. They just talk about at one point, Teddy Bruschi was like, we're getting that 3rd one, I just get emotional. They cut over to Vrabel. He's like, well, Bruschi gets emotional over everything. So really, I was like, it was awesome. It's really well done. Honestly, like, it's so far, to me, it's just as good, if not better, than The Last Dance so far. But
wow,
which is saying something for me. But it's very, very well done. They just wrapped up the 2004 season, so I don't know if they're going to combine a couple more years. But it's really good. Definitely recommend it.
What are your thoughts about to jump back to basketball? Because I think
I don't know how Duke's ranked number 1 either.
Is that where we're going?
No.
I know Scotty and I have a hatred for them.
I do. I hate them sons of bitches. Well, they're number 1 because they beat Gonzaga.
What wasn't going to college basketball? We could.
No, that's okay. It's too early. It's too early.
Just checking.
Too early.
I was going to talk about the fact that fans are now getting kicked out of games.
Yes.
And the cancel culture leaking down to, and I don't get me wrong, if it is overtly racist, they should be kicked. Like, yes, I appreciate all of that.
Yeah. What would
you have chosen to play in a sport where the proximity of the fan who paid $8 trillion to sit on the floor.
Yeah.
They can, I mean, and the conversation about, think about all the big names that would, like, Jack sitting down there on the Lakers games, Knicks games with Spike, and all the trash talking he would do with Reggie, and like all the things that, like, now that the average fan who spent a ton of money, or maybe they're even season ticket holders, I mean, on the floor, that's a pretty penny.
Yeah.
And they're getting bounced. And I have to imagine if you're getting kicked out of a game, you're probably getting kicked out of the season or more. Who knows? I just find it amazing. And it started with, LeBron did it. And then it just happened again the other night with somebody else.
Tristan Thompson.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Where's this headed? I don't think it's good.
It's not.
I don't think it's good.
there's times where like, so LeBron's thing, I could see this as actually being, it wasn't racist, but what they said was pretty egregious, which is pretty messed up. They were like,
oh, it's about his son, right?
And said that, we hope Bronny dies in a car crash.
Yeah,
that's kind of over the line. Look, after
ridiculous.
And if it's like if they've been jabbing and then they start like, if they say it like more than once and they start, you know what I mean, like not chanting, but like that to me is like, all right, that's effed
Sure.
up. There's something wrong with you. But the Tristan Thompson thing, that they started like talking about the Kardashian family and how they messed up in his head or whatever, and like they got like, dude, come on, really? Like that's you know what I mean? That to me is ridiculous. Like that, we're not. That's where we're at right now. Also, you're Tristan Thompson. People didn't even know you were in the league.
Yes.
Still, like, really, that's what's happening. Like, I mean, and I know you shouldn't put it like in that perspective of, oh well, it's LeBron, so LeBron gets that treatment. But it's true. That's how it is.
Yeah.
LeBron gets that treatment. Russ will have that treatment of Russell Westbrook. But Thompson being able to kick players, I mean, people out. I don't know. It's just. It's back to the fact that the players run the NBA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They just do. And that's not going to change anytime soon from my perspective either.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, throwing stuff,
Mhm.
anything racial. And as everybody always says, no matter what, and they say this in politics all the time, you don't bring somebody's kids into the conversation.
No.
So that was over the top and 4 buckets of stupid with a side of fries. And like, if people are going to, like, because this is going to happen a handful more times in the next 2 months. People getting popped because players are like, oh, we can do this now.
Yeah.
We're going to at least stop the game and make an issue,
Timmy,
because then it will just escalate to, well, they weren't kicked out. Why weren't they kicked out? Well, what is the line now?
Right.
I don't know.
Before the cell phones with the videos and being able to record stuff, I can only imagine the stuff that was said to guys back in the 90s, the 80s, the 70s.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how it is. But
they just played through it. They were tougher skinned than they are nowadays.
Said on the friggin' court between the players. You know what I mean?
Stuff everybody that Garnett was saying to everyone.
Right, exactly. You don't have to go back that far.
Yeah.
And Garnett was perceived to be like the ultimate asshole. Like, no, Garnett was trash talking. That's how it is.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have been. They wouldn't have lasted a friggin' game with Reggie Miller or Bird or Jordan. You know what I mean? Or any of these guys. Like Magic even ran his mouth. Isaiah, are you kidding me? Like the bad boys would have beat the hell out of them. It's just, it's such a wimpy league now, and it's at times really, really tough to watch. I'm happy of some of the rule changes they've made, because they've made it.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's been a lot better product so far than it has been in the last couple of years, because of like the Harden thing and all the shit that they used to do. But they still have a long way to go. They really, really do.
Yeah.
And like everyone wants to shoot the 3, and that's just, I mean. Yeah. It's getting a little ridiculous.
I'm so excited that I actually get to watch the Celtics, and only the Celtics tonight, because the Bruins played last night. And last night was like the first time I watched a Bruins game that I could actually concentrate without flipping back and forth. And then, oh crap, I forgot to put it back. And
yes, last night the Boston Bruins and Jake DeBrusk all played hockey together. Oh, very nice of him to show up. Yeah.
Oh, did you hear the fans every time he touched the puck?
Oh my God, the Bluebirds!
It was awesome.
It was like when an NBA player that nobody likes got the ball, right?
Yeah.
Like anytime he touched the puck, the Bluebirds came out.
Awesome.
Well, I think it's interesting for him to throw that out there. Also, the comments made by Cassidy but the point that Cassidy's making is like, I know you're going to score here and there, and I need you to care all the other nights.
Right.
And they just haven't seen the hustle. So that was, I guess it hit over the weekend that he went through his agent and said he wants to trade. And the only reason they were forced to use them is they couldn't bring people up from Providence because they've got a COVID pop in Providence.
Yeah. So Don Sweeney came out and was like, yeah, we've known he's wanted to be out of here. It's just he's made it public. We've already been trying, but nobody wants him for the stupid contract I signed him to.
Oh my God, right? So
I just don't so he's pissy pants with Cassidy because, or he's just like, what the hell is his problem? I don't understand like why he's bitching. The Bruins it's a damn good team. You know what I mean? He's on the second line, isn't he?
He got dropped to the third line.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yeah. Cause
well, he sucks too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really
Right.
not playing.
Yeah.
He's not playing
No,
hard.
That's one of the leagues that the coaches will actually, bench you, move you
Yep.
down and make a point. It's like, hey, you're not showing up, so we're gonna try to see if someone else will.
Well, Coach Thibodeau did that for Kemba Walker, by the way. Did you see that?
I
Not only did they
saw a quick blurb about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So not only did they take him out of the starting lineup, Thibodeau, it's like he's not in any rotation. So he's out. Like he's
benched or
13th,
benched him.
14th man on the
Right.
bench right now.
See,
Yeah,
that's what I
he's-
think needs Udoka needs to do with a couple players on the Celtics.
But
Just
he's been mouthy too, though, in the best of ways. In a very he's much like Cassidy. He will call them out on their shit, which a lot of coaches don't do. And not that Belichick's not a hard ass, but he'll be like, yeah, that's an internal thing. We're discussing it. Like he
I'm
doesn't.
looking forward to
never-
the game tonight because obviously it's against the Sixers.
Yep.
That's beside the point.
Trust the
gives me just-
process.
Yeah.
Are they still a train wreck? I haven't really been able to. I know they started out. They were a big train wreck. the
Yeah, but
Sixers.
they're playing better basketball. I mean, but we're both 11 and 10. You know what I mean? They're not they're not great.
Yeah.
But they're still a mess in regard to the whole Ben Simmons thing. But it's more of just we hate Philly anyway. But the fact that the Celtics is actually had a few days off where they've been able to spend some time together and actually practice. You know what I mean? Because that's one thing about the NBA that happens a lot where between travel and everything and rest and the new restrictions that the NBA PA, back to that, put in for the players, there's not a lot of time for during mid-season practices until they have 3 or 4 nights off, which only happens 3 or 4 times a year or during the season, so I'll be interested to see if they come out and actually play, good solid team basketball.
It was nice to see which game was it? That Tatum had 12 points and he had 10 assists, and they won the game.
Yep. Against Toronto. That was the Toronto game.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But did you also see that Grant
these
Williams
games all being on the same night has been freaking oh god, it's pisses me off so bad.
Go to
Grant
your
Williams
in-laws'
is
house
the,
and watch it later on tape delay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
don't have time to watch the games live, never mind on Memorex.
Memorex. Oh my god. Oh my god. I think that's a wrap. We're gonna get into it. We'll talk about it next week for sure. I absolutely want to talk about the acquisition of the Penguins by the Fenway ownership.
I just have one more thing before we wrap, though.
Yeah, I think it only gets weird when the Bruins and the Penguins.
I want one more thing too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm not trying to shut it down. I just know everybody's.
I know
we're going to turn it into a pumpkin. That's all. That's all.
I am. But go ahead, Billy. You go first.
I just so the news is coming out that they are interested in bringing Tuukka Rask back. I just wondering what you guys thought about. So that would mean that they would have to send Swayman back down, who is the better of the 2 goalies they have right now.
Swayman is he's the only one with an option left. Is that why?
Yeah.
Oh boy,
that kind of sucks.
They should have so I guess Vladar didn't have options, so they were kind of in the, but it would have been at least a lot cheaper if they just kept him around, play Vladar and Swayman instead of signing this guy for $5 million a year. And now he's horrible.
Try and combine him and DeBrusque and get a trade, and so you keep Swayman, and then you have Tuukka. Come on, Sweeney, you watch the show, you know you do.
Yeah. You watch the show. That'd be great.
I think Sweeney's gonna be out.
Oh boy,
just like Montreal fired their GM, they're gonna. I think, although the Jacobs, they just, as long as he makes the playoffs, they don't care. They just don't care.
Yeah.
They toe the line. They make the playoff money. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
And the fans just get pissed off with the bad decisions they make.
And it's one of the most passionate fan bases, and not just not just in Boston, but the fact it's the fan base itself is rabid.
Yeah, the Bruins fans are rabid. Yes,
for sure. Yeah. For sure. Final thoughts, Scotty. You had something.
No, I did. I just I don't know if you guys watched it or not, the press conference with Tiger Woods coming back.
Yes.
I just wanted to bring that up.
So good.
It was really good. I feel like he's in one of the best places mentally that I mean, I honestly, I had no expectations going into it. I was all like weirded out. I'm like, what's he going to say? Is he coming back? Is he not coming back? And there's still like, he answered a lot of questions, but there's still a lot of questions that are on the table too, but I think the best part, the takeaway was, he talked about like Ben Hogan, was like, he did it. And I think I can too, which is
after a car accident as well.
Play. Yes. Yep. Exactly. Play,
pick and choose
tournaments when I want to pick and choose when I want to play. And he's like, and they talked about like other, like, not things outside of the PGA Tour.
Sure.
And he's like, he basically came out, was like, I don't really have any interest in that, because I know Greg Norman's, his thing that he's got going on, he's come to him and talked to him or whatever, but he's like, no, he's got a lot of, respect and obviously loyalty to the PGA Tour, which is great for the viewing fans like ourselves and stuff too. So I don't know. It was really good to see. I think mentally he's in a really great spot, and
wow. How did I not see that?
I can't believe you didn't see it.
Yeah,
he
that's
talked
huge.
about the fact that
I never thought he was going to play in the PGA again.
The doctors told him at the time it was a coin toss on his leg. He could have lost his leg easily. The fact that he's got his leg and that he's mobile is amazing. And he's like, I've accepted the reality that I'm probably never going to major again. I'm going to pick and choose my spots. I want to enjoy my life, and I'm grateful to be here. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. Like, yes. Because if he pops out, like if he's like next year, Masters.
Right.
Amen. And he's going to show up. And I think I think the plane that he landed mentally is, when I go and play, for me to complete 18, 72 holes, whatever, that'll be a victory. And there's going to be some sweet candy on the table for him to show up at anything.
Oh yeah.
Because the ratings will be through the roof. Guys are going to take Thursday off, or they're going to have the TV in their office appropriately tuned.
Oh, yeah.
Like all day. Are you kidding me?
But he has to
blow ratings through the roof.
He has to be playing decent at least, because if he's not going to make the cut,
he needs to show up.
If he's,
I know, but you know what? But that first tournament, whatever it is.
Oh yeah,
and it should be the Milwaukee Open. That's where he got his start.
Yeah,
but you know what
Friday is going to be.
Once he starts back again, he's got the killer instinct like Jordan and Brady and the elite of the elite. Once he starts playing back, he's gonna be, oh yeah, no, I got to work at this. He'll be coming back if he gets on that first tournament. And it's like, oh yeah, I can do it, and he's gonna work back.
I don't think he can physically do that. That's why he's gonna pick his spots here and there.
Oh yeah,
he won't be able to physically, like, he's not gonna be able to be on the
with
tour.
The courses he likes, the courses that play to his strengths.
Exactly. Yeah,
and I'd love to see him do the Milwaukee Open, right? So he can sit down and be like, "Hello, world," right?
Yeah.
Like I'm back at the same place he started, right? Yeah, it's super good news. I'm so excited for it. All in on more Tiger. We appreciate you guys watching the show. If you're enjoying the content, share with your friends, comment. You can go to atbshow.com to grab all of the YouTube action. And of course, Rubbish Shoes with the wrap up and rant on Instagram every morning. In the bio there too is our link tree for all the other socials. Boys, have a great week. We'll be back next week. I think Scotty Dukes is out. I think Adam is back in, and I believe we might have some little shoes. Who knows? We'll see you in a week. Enjoy your week, and thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Bye.